mic muted, you damn mono. I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, what's up, team? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gonna start in 5 minutes. Just gonna give everybody a few minutes to join up and be ready. Did start a little bit later, so this session is gonna be pretty quick. We'll talk about. There's really nothing to talk about when it comes to this morning's trading session. Um, Sorry, I'm posting the link on Instagram. There's really nothing to talk about when it comes to the NYC session for this morning. Most of the pairs literally just move counter trend, right? All the 372s that we had, um, the zones of consolidations, even price was just moving counter trend. The only pairs that was really left for us in the morning was US 30 and silver, which was the pair that we added in yesterday's stream. But silver was just consolidating, so it gave a nice 15-minute engulfing, and we'll go over that. But again, price was just consolidating. I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it. It is what it is. And then at around 2 p.m., I got back on the charts. I took a US 30 trade, right? That I'm gonna speak about it because, and I was thinking about this when I took it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna post this because it was a little bit too technical. It was obviously after STP and ADR has been hit. However, from 8 in the morning, 8:30 till around 3 p.m., Trump was just talking, and I was watching it. I was seeing how the markets were moving, and pretty much at the end of his speech, I'm like, nah. There was a picture perfect trade, entry opportunity that I honestly took the trade, and I was not expecting price to move until the start of Asia session. But I took the trade, and literally 5 minutes right after, price flew up. Right, it went straight into TP. So we're gonna speak about the trade because the entry portion, outside of the regular rules that we have, which is SCP and ADR, the rules were picture perfect on the screen. Right, it was a beautiful Type 3 pattern continuation, bounce off the 50 EMA, 1 minute engulfing candles, exhaustion candles on I believe it was a 30-minute time frame. So all our rules that we look for were being played out on the chart. Um, Gold and US 30 don't look bad. Going into tomorrow's news, going to be something to keep our eye on. Based off the volume, I can see why you took a STP was hit pre 8:30, so we could have expected hella volume. Yeah, but we would expect that, for example, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, right? On a usual basis, I'm not expecting price. Especially at 2 3 p.m., I'm not expecting US 30 to move as much as it did, and nobody does ever. But these times are a little bit different just because of the news. That's really the only thing that drove it up that much, and I wasn't really expecting that, right? Because again, this isn't the first time that he speaks. This is not the first time that he does press conferences. But and on a usual basis when he has press conferences, even if it's like long FOMC meetings or whatever the case is, price wouldn't really move this much. Um, so again, I really wasn't expecting more volume to come into the charts. I really was expecting price to just wait until the start of Asia session or whatever. Like we'll have a little bit of volume, or even get like an early entry for price to stay in that area for the next 8 9 hours, and then the start of NYC. That's when price was gonna start moving. You know what I mean? So based off that rule alone, I can't even say that either because what you said, right? STP got hit, let's say before 8:30, on a regular day-to-day basis with no news, you're gonna see that volume come in anyway at 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? But for a day like today, that wasn't the case. That wasn't something that I was thinking about. But any questions, guys? Let me know. Once again, I only have one monitor, so I'll be going back and forth from the charts to the chart, from the chart to the chat. So if you guys have any questions, let me know before we get started. But if you guys have any questions throughout the stream, of course, I'll be going back and forth. So just let me know. Any specific pairs you guys want me to go over, let me know. At this point, I'm gonna just turn off USD CAD and USD ZAR because I'm not gonna be trading them right now. See what I mean? Hello. We did have 7:30 news for AUD though. This is insane work. Man, this is gonna be a fast stream. I'm not gonna update the 30-minute highs or anything today. Close the gap. I want to see the 4-hour though because the 4-hour we have the inducement. This will still be an inducement, so this could still just be a little bit of a steeper pullback, which is okay. Alright, let's go into the daily real quick and see if we missed anything at these highs. Is there any engulfing candles that maybe we don't have marked up at these highs? No. Let's go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour time frame. What the hecky? What does this happen on TradingView? We had a 4-hour engulfing, but that was already tapped into. Do we have anything higher? Up here? Nothing over here. Okay. Then I'm not gonna. Well, we could. Let's see. We have nothing here. Okay, cool. Um, so we have an engulfing candle. See if we have anything higher than that. We have this one here that was tapped into. Take a sip of water, man. Damn. And then I can't see anything else. Alright, cool. So we found an engulfing candle that we could potentially look for another pullback, a little bit of a steeper pullback, right? And then on the daily time frame, this type of pullback, if we end up getting it this high, which I don't really think, yeah, this will just be the top of the zone of consolidation again. So I don't think price will push up this far to the top side. It's really not something that I'm expecting. Again, could it? Price could do whatever it wants, but I'm not expecting it. I'll be expecting the pullbacks to happen in these areas. So I'll just be, we have the 4-hour high to really just keep an eye on. This still isn't a valid break, so we still have a lot of time. We would have to wait for another 4-hour candle to print. So this one finishes in 56 minutes. We would have to wait for the next 4-hour candle to give us a confirmation if price wants to give us a valid break of these highs, or if price goes back down and goes back into these the zone of consolidation. So we still have a long time to wait for AUD USD to give us that solid confirmation as to where price wants to go. So we'll be patient with AU. ACAD pretty much very similar. I'm not gonna do that full thing. We'll just update this either tomorrow morning or tomorrow night for the isolation session. But STP ADR is already hit for UD CAD. We'll go to the next one. EA already gave us the move as well. Let's see, I'm just trying to find a pair that hasn't hit STP yet. Okay, ECAD. Let's actually go through these pairs real quick. I want to see. Before I even continue, let's just do this quickly since it seems like the fastest thing to do. Alright, all the AUD pairs were the ones that made those moves. Okay. Sorry, I got the sniffles, guys. Upset. Bitcoin, oil, silver. Silver too, bro. Like, fuck. They would give us a stupid zone of consolidation. Would have been perfect. Where the other two pair USD cannons are. Let's just take a look at these real quick. Okay. So let me see. Any questions in the chat so far? Let me know. Yeah, true, because a lot of this shit is new with Trump. Yep, exactly. Alright, so EuroCAD, we know that we are in peak high. Fuck, there's another pair I'm not trading. God damn it. Let's just update. We're looking for a valid break. It gave us an inducement. We're not going to update those highs just yet. We had 3 days of rise. Price. Oh, yeah, 3 days of rise already. Price today was either going to move sideways or go down, and we went down. EuroCAD will turn that off. And we don't have a lot of pairs to look at no more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pairs. 3 days of rise on EU. It gave us that third day high. As soon as it gave us that third day high, price went down. We finished as a rise drop. Could we expect a fourth day push to the top side? Absolutely. The only thing I don't like about this fourth day rise is how steep the pullback is. But the structure on EU right now looks pretty good. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on EU going into tomorrow. I would have loved to have seen, obviously, you know, the change, the break, the pullback. Would have been a little bit of an easier trade to take. And again, especially since we still have that third month push to the top side. You know, knowing that as well, we still have 10 days left for the month. Right? We still have all of next week. So could price, to end this week off, could price just start trapping trade or start consolidating, whatever the case is, and then start their move next week? 100% they could do that as well. Right? Again, when I'm speaking about price pushing up to the third month push to the top side, we still have so many pips left. We still have 111 pips for price to reach those highs. Right? And on average, this is a pair that moves 57 pips. On a week-to-week basis, this is a pair that moves 104 pips. And again, already for this week, price gave us 193 pips. Right? With that being said, am I expecting a pair like EU? Today's already Wednesday going into Thursday. At the end of the week, am I expecting EU to give me this push to the top side? No. I'm expecting price to be a little bit slower, and we'll most likely be waiting for this move to happen going into next week to give us that third push to the top side. So we'll be patient with EU, but I do like the structure. I'm going to keep an eye on it. GCAD gave us 2 days of rise and didn't give us that fourth day push to the top side. Right, this is a pair that moved counter trend. We're still in a zone of consolidation in level 3, waiting for a continuation to be given. And right now we don't have that. You know, our 30-minute lows and highs, we're pretty much still stuck in the zone of consolidation. So we'll wait it out. We'll see what price wants to do. Once we start uptrending, I'll start looking to take these trades again. This is a pair that we had a engulfing candle at these lows too. Price tapped into it, went straight to the top side. So we'll wait it out. We'll see what happens. GJ is another pair in peak high, so I'm not going to be trading this one. I'm going to respect it. Again, GJ will just, if we end up waking up tomorrow and GJ hasn't done STP or ADR, then we'll update this chart and we'll talk about it more in depth. But right now, let's just focus on the pairs that look good, that we know we could take a trade in. Right, this is another pair very similar to GCAD. We had 2 days of rise, but price did not give us that third day push. Price pretty much just consolidated all day today for GU. So, and again, what we talked about yesterday, right? At the end of the day for GU, we weren't even expecting for price to give us that fourth day push because we are still trading lower low, lower high, lower low. and price tapped into our 30-minute highs and gave us a lower high and gave us such a steep pullback, right? So for the same reason that I wasn't expecting price for GU to give me that push to the top side is the same reason why I'm not expecting EU to do that today. So we'll come back to GU as well tomorrow. 3 days of rise, gap in the market to start the week. It gave us another push to the top side, trading higher high, higher low, and these higher highs over here. It gave us a change and it gave us the break. So this is a pair. At this moment, we know we're trading in the 4-hour highs as well. So I don't really like trading in these areas. Sorry, I'm looking at this like it's an uptrend. That's why we start in the daily time frame. This is NU. We're in level 3 on a downtrend. Right, so let's re-say what I was going to say. We're at the 4-hour highs. At this point, we're waiting for price to either give us a confirmation of price giving us a valid break of these highs to continue, or this is where the inducement is going to start happening, and that's what we can see on the 4-hour. But right now on the 30-minute, we are still trading higher high, higher low. Now on the lower time frame, we are trading higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price gave us a change of character, lower low, lower high, lower low. So then price gave us a higher high, change of character. So this is where the inducements are happening. So we still got to be patient. We'll wait for price to start giving us lower lows and lower highs before we start taking those trades. What the hecky? What's good, Mr. Agent? Welcome, my brother. Now, US 30. Let's move this over. We have a day of rise. So once again, let's start from the daily. We know that US 30 is in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market so far. Still trading between our daily higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came down, gave us a higher low, right? So right now we know we're bouncing off the 50 EMA. We're still respecting the uptrend market structure. On the 4-hour time frame, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came down, gave us a higher low, right? We also know that at the higher high, what did price do? It gave us a zone of consolidation, and it gave us the break. So now, we know also what did price do before it gave us the break of the 4-hour zone of consolidation. The number one thing, right, is market structure. Again, you're gonna have a lot of traders who just gonna be oblivious to the fact that they're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right? They're just gonna be oblivious to that. They're not gonna be able to spot that. All they're gonna be able to spot is the fact that price was in a zone of consolidation. They got a break and they're waiting for a retest for price to continue to go down. Right? The second thing we have to our advantage is the fact that we know gaps have to be filled in the market. But again, the number one thing was really market structure. Market structure, as long as you can see this, it's going to be very difficult to be faked out into whatever trade it is that you're looking for. Right? So we had the confirmation of market structure on the 4-hour time frame. So now on the 30, pretty much very similar. Right? Earlier in the morning, you're like, all right, yeah, we got a valid break. We know we have a change. We have a valid break. Looks good. However, once price got to these lows, there's only two things that could happen. Either a type 3 pattern for price to give us a type 3 pattern in an uptrend, or I'm sorry, a type 1 pattern on an uptrend, or give us the type 3 pattern on the downtrend. Right? All we were waiting for was to see what price was going to do. And price went all the way to the top side. So we already knew, okay, cool. This isn't going to give us a type 3 pattern. We're going to start looking for this to give us a continuation back to the top side. So again, this pair in specific, I don't want you guys to look at STP or ADR. I just want you guys to focus on the technicals that we look for, the entry strategies, right? we know we're trading at a higher low. We know that we're looking for price to bounce off the 50 EMA. We know what exhaustion candles look like. We know what a type 1 pattern, sorry. We know what a type 1 pattern looks like. Consolidation, break, double bottom at the bottom, push 1 to the top side, push 2 to the top side, push 3 to the top side. Right? So once we knew where we were at, I was just looking for my entries. Right? And I was going 5-minute time frame. Okay, perfect. We're bouncing off the 50 as well. Price broke above the 800. We got a pullback, right? And we could see that price on the lower time frames. We go to the 1 minute, we start trending to the top side, right? We go to the 1 minute time frame, which is where I took my entry. Same thing, right? We could see the uptrend. We could see how price is moving, right? Now I was looking for engulfing candles. So at this point, when I got back on the charts, right, this was 2 p.m., I saw that price had printed this engulfing candle over here. And I was like, wow, this is a very strong. Sorry, give me 1 second. I was like, wow, this is a very strong engulfing candle. We have the cross of the 50 above the 200, right? We had price bounce off offer around the 50 EMA, right? We tapped into it. So they were cool. Once I got on the chart, it was around 215, right? I saw price go above the 50 again. I took the trade when price was bouncing off the 50 EMA over here, and my stop loss was below the engulfing candle. Pretty simple trade, right? And then literally 5 minutes, 7 minutes later, price flew up to the top side, right? So now, going into tomorrow's session, I am expecting price to continue up to fill the gap on the 30-minute time frame. We also have a 1 minute gap here at the pullback, right? On the lower time frame, we have a change of character, we have a break of structure. Clean traffic to the top side. I'm expecting price to give me a pullback between 23.6 and 38.2, right? We're looking for that flag post pattern to be given. And we also had a gap at the 38.2. So at this point, you know, I was looking to enter again off the 38.2 and the fill of the gap on the 1 minute time frame. But you can see that price is just continuing that push to the top side, giving fake engulfings going short, already trapping traders early on. So US 30 is definitely another pair for tomorrow to keep an eye on. Hopefully we'll have another entry for the NYC session before that gap gets filled. But we'll see what happens. Let's double bottom off the 800, 1 minute engulfing cross of the 50, 200 exhaustion on the 50. I see super late. Yeah, it was like 215. Entry retest the 50, 1 minute gap on the 38.2. Literally right on it. Go back to the 1 minute where the lines are at so I can see how you manage those highs. Go back to the 1 minute where the lines are at so I can see how you manage those highs. You're saying here or here? When you were in the position. Trump tweeted, yeah, no more tariffs on the EU. That I saw that. I heard that on the stream. Price is right on it, but at that time, yeah. Yeah, I was on that. I was literally watching the stream the entire morning, pretty much until he got off. So I was kind of aware of everything that was going on. I just really wasn't expecting price to react that way. I'm assuming you got out as soon as we induced those highs with the engulfing. Yeah, Once we got back up, I cashed out, and then I was just waiting. I wanted to see if we were just gonna get like an inducement of these lows. I was looking. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get in again here to then just continue. But I waited for the lows. I'm like, oh, the lows broke, perfect, and it just continued. So, but I got up literally right out as soon as it came back up to the body of the highs. So I missed out on a few pips, on a few dollars, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. All right. Once I saw this first engulfing candle print, I was like, all right, cool. I'll wait for price to come back. Right, price came back. I waited for the next candle. This next candle just tapped into it. Right when it came back up, that's when I cashed out. Pretty nice trade. Still grateful trade. Yeah, and I cashed out 80% of it, so I still have 20. I still have 20% running on this shit, and then I have my stop loss right below the 1 minute, the man fuck the 1 minute gap. So I still got a few dollars left. And then gold, let's take a look. Gave us 2 days of rise. We have a gap at the top. Could we expect a third day push? I don't know. Gold is going to be another pair that I'm going to be looking at tomorrow morning. Give me 1 second. Sorry, team. I'm back. Um, US 30 owes you 20% facts. It's starting to push after inducing the lows. Gold. Um, Inducing these lows, but they're really not, unless maybe we go down to the 5 minute. Right, we say lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Technically speaking, we're still trading in a 5 minute lower low, lower high. Um, you know, could we say these are just internal lows that it tapped into? Yeah, but it's not really strong. These aren't really strong lows to look at, right? Especially, in the 30-minute time frame, we're still trading. We had higher high, higher low, and we're trading literally between this higher low and this higher high all the way to the top side. So this is just a higher low, between 23.6, 38.2 as well. Right. We don't really have any, realistically speaking, we don't really have any support zones down here that are really strong to call out or to even consider these previous structure lows. Again, on the 5 minute time frame, the structure is down here, right? So, regardless, right? Because even if we go down to the 1 minute, right, we can't even say it on the 1 minute either. Unless we want to be greedy and say that this is lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, but then that would mean we'd have to say this is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we know that's not the case, right? So I got a banana for that great trade. My mom was like, "Yo, you need anything from the supermarket?" I'm like, "Yeah, some bananas." Actually, Bitcoin I'm not trading. Oil, we have another day of rise, and again we're still stuck in a higher high, higher low situation, and also stuck in the shoulder head shoulder sequence. That again, price just induced the lows and went back to the top side. Same thing that we talked about since the beginning of the week. That was what we were expecting for price to do in these areas. So we'll be patient with oil. And then silver, we know we're in peak high territory. Structure is the same as gold pretty much. Um, I'm kind of upset at silver because we're just stuck in a zone of consolidation, and I didn't really, again, we're in a zone of consolidation. I'm not gonna risk, taking a low probability trade, right, in a zone of consolidation. There is just no point, right? But now that we have a change of character to the bottom side, we still have that gap at the bottom. Um, we could be expecting price to continue these trends back down to the bottom to at least fill that gap. So we'll be patient with silver. We'll wait for another entry opportunity to be given, and then we'll take it. Man, I have to go blow my nose. I have to drink my tea, and then I'll be okay for the rest of the night. But fuck, this is brutal, man. Like I was good all day, and then the sun goes down, and that's when I start getting my nose got stuffy. Like I was pretty much chilling all day. So that's pretty much it, team. Any questions? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Anything else you want me to talk about? Let me know. We have a few pairs to keep an eye on. EU would be a good pair to keep an eye on. What else? Let's see. GCAD, GJ, not really that much. We'll look at GJ again, like I said, tomorrow morning. My chart's frozen. There you go. Alright, bro, come on. GU would be a good one to keep an eye on, but again, I just don't like the structure on GU. Right now, EU looks like the best pair to keep an eye on. NZD USD could be a good one, depending on what price does at these highs. US 30 could be a good one for the NYC session if we don't hit those highs during Asia or London, and then gold and silver would be pretty good pairs to keep an eye on as well. So, good boy. All right. Any other questions? Let me know. Anything else you guys want me to go over? Thank you, brother. No problem, Mr. Adrian. Have a good rest of your night, my brother. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's get to it, man. Let's do it. All right, team. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Peace out.